When the United States Coast Guard cooperates in a research project, it goes all out. This was a big one, important enough to rate the services of 3 top-flight scientific brains. It was newsworthy enough to attract top-line press coverage, too.
Hi, Lieutenant. May I come aboard?
What if I say no?
You never have, even when you're sitting on top of a big story.
Now, who told you about that? PI?
That and a woman's instinct. Mine works overtime when Mike Nelson is involved. Someday his scales may dry out long enough for me to put a ring in his nose. Is he under?
Right at the end of that cable.
As usual. Well, I'll see him when he comes up.
You're going to have to wait 3 days.
3 days? What kind of a gag is this?
Ask the experts. Come on, I'll introduce you. Gentlemen, this is Dorothy Maybrook, science writer for the Tribune and our youngest Pulitzer Prize winner.
Well, she's the prettiest anyway. Hello.
Dorothy, this is Dr. Bainbridge, the Navy's best diving physician.
How do you do?
Dick Jennings, project engineer.
Hi.
Hi. And Professor Anton Riccardi, specialist in high-pressure gases and breathing mixtures.
How do you do?
How do you do? So, this isn't a gag.
No.
Professor, I'm familiar with your work, but I don't see how Mike can stay under for 3 days. He hasn't grown gills, has he?
Much of the information is classified.
Only a gas formula, Professor. Some detail to the Scubasphere.
Scubasphere?
Pressure chamber with its own supply. Pressure keeps the water out even when the entrance door is open. So he can come in, take his gear off, and get warm and dry without decompression.
A pressure chamber? But I don't see any airlines.
It is self-contained. It is supplied with a helium-oxygen mixture and regulated automatically as regards pressure in accordance with my formula.
Mike's scuba setup is the same. Liquid helium and liquid oxygen.
How deep is he?
250 feet. At least that's where the chamber is.
Nobody has tried to stay in deep waters for more than an hour or 2, even with helium-oxygen mixture.
Right. And in 3 days, anything can happen.
It is only the human element that concerns me. Unfortunately, emotions cannot yet be accurately anticipated, measured, or controlled.
Professor, if those gadgets of yours are as dependable as Mike Nelson, we got no worries.
Yeah.
Lieutenant Tully had a message for me when I was out working. I had been for hours. So I headed home now, to Riccardi's Scubasphere. That's when I heard the alarm bell, telling me to get inside and answer the phone. The getting inside part took some doing.
Hiya, Mike. How you making it as a spaceman?
Like an astronaut in orbit. Why the panic button?
Nothing serious. Radio reports a tropical storm headed this way.
Oh? Is it rough up there?
No, it's not due up here till sometime tomorrow.
Well, let's see what it looks like in the morning, huh? No sense quitting unless it gets bad.
Okay. Stay close to home, though. I don't have to come looking for you.
Oh, don't worry. I'm knocking off right now. As soon as I label these samples, I'm hitting the sack.
Hey, Mike, there's a friend of yours up here.
Oh, who?
Isn't it lonesome down there?
Who is this?
Hi, lover boy.
Hey, Dottie. I've changed my mind. Pull me up, you guys.
In 3 days, darling. Bye.
Why, you? I was glad when I wound up my first day's work, 250 feet underwater. Now for my first night's rest. I was so tired, the hammock looked comfortable to me. It even felt that way. This time of night topside, I generally raid the refrigerator. Down here, the only snack available was some concentrated liquid protein. Nourishing, sure, but not very tasty. I didn't have much else to complain about. Almost wished I had, just to break the monotony. But as far as I could tell down here, my chief problem would be keeping awake during daylight upstairs.
The cheek. You see Lefty Corbin, boy? We've got a real howler moving in.
Slack off of the cable before you beat me to death.
Okay, but don't fool around. The storm will get real nasty before long. I want you on deck.
All right.
That was worse than it looked. The dogs, the metal clamps that sealed the door shut, were bent out of line. I had to fix them somehow. I had to. The pressure inside the chamber was the same as outside, 8 atmospheres, which was why no water came in. But topside, it was only 1 atmosphere. With the air seal broken this way, if they had to pull me up fast because of the storm, the difference in pressures would kill me. My one chance was to force the clamps back into line and seal the door. Keep it sealed upstairs while the pressure was lowered, gradually to sea level.
What's that, Mike? But it's got to seal. Well, they can't hold us here forever.
What is it, Doc? What's the matter?
Wait. Talk to Dick. He's the engineer.
Mike up yet, Doctor? We gotta get the ship out of here.
Bad news, Captain. Real bad. Mike can't get the door closed.
We're dragging the hook now. I'm trying to hold it with power. How much longer will it take?
We've got to make a new door. He can't fix it. Dick says it'll take at least a day. I've got to get this chamber off the bottom before we pound it to pieces.
I can't maneuver with booming that thing over the side.
Shall we cut him loose, Captain?
That's the choice.
That's a choice.
Hey, slack off! Slack off! Drifting? Okay, I'll check.
Dick Jennings, the engineer, had done a remarkable construction job. The chamber came through intact. Its skin was scratched, but not broken. Even the cable, my lifeline to the cutter, seemed okay. But I kept on checking. If anything were wrong, now was the time to report it topside before the storm sent the cutter reeling again. Something was wrong, all right. Terribly wrong. But I couldn't report it. My telephone connection with the cutter was ripped to shreds.
Left full runner. Picker.
Clear, Mike, boy. We can't hold it in this sea.
I had to make sure that I didn't lose my lifeline the same way, if and when we slammed into the next reef. I started to lash some additional ropes around the cable, but the cutter dragged anchor again and took the chamber with it. I went to work again now, trying to reinforce the cable as fast as I knew how, hoping against hope that I'd have enough time. The strain from upstairs was too much. The eye of the cable opened, and away it went.
It's free. I cut it clear.
Mike's all clear. It's up to you now, Captain. All engines ahead for thirds.
Overhead, I could hear the cutter moving out at close to full power. The sea around me was too empty, too cold for comfort now. And I wanted the nearest thing that I could find to four walls and a roof over my head.
Doctor? There's something wrong here. We're not dragging that sphere. Check the cable.
You sure? Check the cable. Fella says we haven't got the chamber.
He's right. No weight on it at all. Cable's loose.
It was night again. My second night in what had become a chamber of horrors. For the first time in my life, the world underwater was a fearful place. Oppressively still. Disturbingly lonesome. At that moment, Dorothy's voice would have been the sweetest music ever heard on land or in the sea. And her companionship would have been worth anything to me. Even that ring that she wanted to put through my nose. The storm had gone now, and in another handful of hours, the 3-day supply of helium oxygen in the chamber would be gone also. Trying for the surface was out. I might need more than a half a day to come up from this depth without getting a fatal case of the bends.
You know, Professor, you don't have to sell me on the importance of research, but I do think you let Mike take too much of a risk.
Well, the risk was justified. See, the ocean floor is as important to defense as outer space. We must have the rare mineral existing in deep water.
You shouldn't have let him try to ride out the storm. You couldn't be sure your Scubasphere would come through intact.
My sphere did not fail. We cannot control human elements.
What's human about a storm or a banged-up door?
Nothing. And if Mike pulls through, it'll be because some men can survive in spite of a lot of mechanical brains.
Well, we have a new door. Now all we have to do is find it.
I had to help them find me. They might see a float, if I could get one up to the surface. But none of my signal equipment had been designed for this great depth. We'd never expected that we'd need it. I tried the standard inflatable marker buoy, but the 8-atmosphere pressure down here was too great. It wouldn't even inflate. The air inside my lungs was under the same pressure, so I managed to inflate a marker balloon myself. It took off for the top in great style, but the higher it went, the more it expanded as the outside pressure diminished. That's what would happen to my lungs if I tried going up without waiting for hours at a dozen different stages. There was one thing that I could inflate that wouldn't explode. A pair of denim work pants. I didn't have much hope that the air would stay in them. That is, topside, long enough for anyone to spot them. They lasted less than a minute. That couldn't be long enough.
Left full rudder. Take another run over that area. Sure I saw something.
Left full rudder, sir.
That was it. My luck had finally run out. Ditto for my ideas. I couldn't think of another thing to do, except get back inside the chamber, conserve my air till the very last second, and pray. I'll admit it. I was licked, physically and mentally. But something kept my mind from quitting on me entirely. And deep, deep down inside it, a childhood memory slowly climbed to the surface. A trick that I'd learned in my Cub Scout days. I did have something that would float. I was wearing it. It was cold without the shirt, cold as death. But at the moment, I hardly noticed it. I had something much, much more important going for me. And it went. Brother, how it went.
can't tell. It's his shirt. Dave, it's Mike.
Right full rudder. This is it.
Right full rudder, sir.
Vic Jennings didn't lose any time sending the new door down to me, along with new cable and phone connections. It was cold, rough work wrestling the door all the way to the chamber. But when your life depends on doing a job, usually you manage to do it.
He's had plenty of time to make a hookup. Hope we found him too late. Without that shirt, he's frozen.
After attaching the cable, I fixed the phone line. And I was ready to join the human race upstairs again.
Send a diver down. Mike! You sound sick.
I'm just cold. I lost my shirt someplace. As soon as I get this door on, you pull me up out of here, huh?
He's clear.
Ah!
You made it. Bring him up, Captain.
I wasn't able to join up in a hurry, though. I was so exhausted that I didn't even want to. I slept through the endless hours of decompression once the chamber was safely landed on deck.
It's all over. Ricard has finished decompressing you. You can come out now. Come on out. Mike! Mike! Come on out!
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Be right there.
Are you all right?
This must be heaven. You're the angel I've been dreaming about. Hey,
What is it? What's wrong?
you don't look a day older. No lines, no wrinkles. And I must have been underwater for at least 10 years.
Well, then, let's, try to catch up. Come on.
Hi there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. Skin diving is certainly a lot of fun, and it's full of adventure. See some more of it again next week, huh? When there'll be another excursion into that fabulous underwater world of sea hunt.